Well, good morning. So today we're on the top of the world. So yes, it's another absolutely amazing day in Dorset, and there is Hardy Monument at the top of Black Down. So, did you work out where we're going? Well, that was exciting. I've just seen my first orange tip butterfly of the year. This is beautiful. Look at that view in the distance. That looks like Golden Cap down there, I can see. Style territory. Oh, flip. Right. Oh, that was a high stile as well. Oh, very difficult to get over. That, or I'm just getting old. So the interesting thing is that the name Bredy and bride, they both have the same roots. They come from a Celtic word which apparently means torrential gushing stream. Maybe it was once. Well, just got to go out on the road again for a time. Interesting. heavy gate. Hello. Got your bell on. That's a nice house up there. It's very grand. Still got lovely views. Just realised and recognised that the high hill up at the top on the horizon is the knoll, and just to the right of that is the little village of Punnell, Punk Knoll or Punnell, which is where I often camp. Certainly when I do the backpack, the Dorset coast, Punnell is one of my camping spots. So the knoll is a pointy hill which is actually on the inland ridge, the South Dorset Ridge, is it? South Dorset Ridgeway, I think that's what it's officially called. A kind of inland coast path. So we're about to drop down to Long Bredy now. You can see the church over there. And Little and Long were added to the Bredy names to distinguish the two villages, really. This one's obviously the larger of the two, hence it was given the name Long Bredy. We're going to drop down, walk through the village. Probably won't linger here because I've got other things I want to see, although it might be interesting just to have a very quick squiz at the church. Wow, look at this awesome wall. That's absolutely amazing. Alternating red and green. And that wonderful wisteria. Amazing. Right, quick detour. Have a look at the church. looks like there's been a church here since 987 AD. The oldest parts of this church are kind of 13th century, the east window being included in that. But the rest of the church is later. It's a lovely church. And it's cool in here as well, which is very pleasant. Anyway, we better head straight off, otherwise we're going to run out of time. As per usual, I guess. And the house next door is known as the schoolmaster's house. So, who do we think maybe lived there? I love these house names that give away what they did, like the old bakery, the old rectory, the old post office. Kind of gives you a clue to their history, shall we say, heritage. I think that's good. A gate for short people. Hello. So we're just walking through the village of Long Bredy now. I don't actually know an awful lot about it. I can't remember if I've been here before or not. It was apparently mentioned in the Domesday Book, and it's thought to go back to the 9th century. What else do I know? It's brother to Little Bredy, of course, and presumably because of the name, it's long and thin. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm assuming. The only other thing I know is that apparently about 10 years ago some skeletal remains were found near Bottlenap Cottage. I don't know where that is and whether I'll pass it or not, but these were kind of carbon dated and shown to go back to 800 or around about 800 to 600 BC, and the skeletal remains were apparently 3 teenage or young adults, and I think it's probably the oldest remains found in Dorset, I believe. But it's actually rather pretty with this little stream running through it. And so far, it's a very quiet village. That's probably going to be the kiss of death. So we're leaving Long Bredy behind and heading off cross country again. So at some point along here I've got to take another detour because I want to find this secret hidden church ruins, which are somewhere in some woodlands up here. I don't think they are marked, hence why I say they're kind of secret. It's not a touristy thing, and There is nowhere to park anywhere near it. But hopefully, with the aid of a map and common sense, I think I've got a little bit of common sense anyway, hopefully we'll be able to find it. Meantime, I'm sharing my walk with a load more sheep. Hello. Well, judging from the looks of those last paths I've just walked, and this, I'd say this gets pretty muddy at some times of the year. A good job it's nice and dry. It's obviously not an often walked path, this one. Meant to be a path across here. I still like the views though. Another village up there, the church. Nice bit of breeze blowing up here. Managed to get across that field with no path. And in front of me, the woodlands behind the building here, the house, as far as I know, that's Chapel Woodland. So I believe my chapel that I'm looking for is in that woods somewhere. So that's where I'm heading. Well, I'm in Chapel Colts. Question is, can I find the chapel? I'm heading theoretically straight towards it. But having said that, I think its exact spot is not marked that clearly, I don't think. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants a bit. I believe I've spied some stonework. There it is. So this is St. Luke's Chapel, or what remains of it. So the story behind this is that this land on which it stands was given to the monks of Netley Abbey. That's a Cistercian abbey which was founded in 1238 and is based near Southampton. So it is thought that there was a local group of Cistercians that were working at a local farm, based at a local farm. And the land was given and the chapel was built to to service that small band of Cistercian monks. So St Luke's operated between 1240 AD and 1545, when it was abandoned and just became derelict. And of course the reason it was abandoned, well, the date 1545 gives it away, it would have been the dissolution of the monasteries, which made the order abandon St Luke's. A forced abandonment. But it's in the middle of the woods, unsignposted as far as I can see, and I had a real job to find it coming through the woods from where I was. Might be easier coming in from the other side, I guess. But all that stands is this one wall and a kind of recreated altar. But what a beautiful spot for a chapel, even if there isn't much of it left. So peaceful, not a sound apart from the wildlife. And the only other relics are some tombstones. And apparently the person who gave the land to the monks wanted no payment other than that they should pray for him. All kinds of tokens left here, so it obviously has a special place. So that's St Luke's Chapel, the remains of. Right, now we're going to try and find our way back onto the route that I was on. Well, I've decided that for the way back, I'll follow the path. On the way here, I kind of made my own path through the woods, which was not easy. So this might be slightly longer, but I suspect it will be quicker. There's a lot of seagulls over there. I think that's gone because the guy over here is ploughing, and they know where there's going to be a meal. Not only that, there's a red kite swirling around over there, and a buzzard as well. So finally we are back here again, where we were an hour ago. That was quite a big detour in the end to find that chapel. Must have been at least 2, maybe even 3 miles, I don't know, added to my tally today. But we are just about to rejoin my main track again. There's an amazing view west from the ridge that I'm on. You can see the coast down there. It looks very hazy. I'm sure that's Golden Cap I can see, and Thorncombe Beacon this side of that. And over here is the knoll, clump of trees on the top. So all along the ridge there is the South Dorset Ridgeway, which I'll be joining at some point. At the moment I'm still on this ridge and still climbing, and I'm heading towards Tenants Hill. So coming up to the top of Tenants Hill now. Lots of ancient sites, burial mounds. There's one over there. There's a number of burial mounds. There's a stone circle. It's obviously a very old inhabited area. I suppose you can understand why, because we are on a hill with good views all around. We've got skylarks to accompany us now. So this is the stone circle at the top of Tenants Hill. I always think these stone circles, certainly there's a couple around here. There's one on the South Dorset Ridgeway. It looks quite random in a sense. They're kind of not like Stonehenge, where you have the standing stones and they're obvious. These are kind of more like rocks dumped in the circle. I mean, that's probably a terrible thing to say to somebody who knows about these things, but fact is, this is ancient. And as a part of our history. It's actually quite a big circle too. So these kind of times when I wish I had a drone and I could put that up and get an aerial view of the circle. So it's Kingston Russell Stone Circle, and there's an information board. Dates from late Neolithic or early Bronze Age. One of many prehistoric monuments surviving in this part of West Dorset, showing that the region was of great importance through prehistory. We may never know exactly how stone circles were used or what they meant to prehistoric people, but they were probably built for ceremonies and ritual gatherings. They may have marked places in the landscape that held special meanings. The 18 stones, arranged roughly in an oval shape, would originally have stood upright. They were most certainly obtained from a nearby outcrop in the Valley of Stones, the source of stone for all megalithic monuments in this area. Ah, that's interesting. So they were stood upright at one time. Fascinating. It's a kind of strange place to have the sign there, because the stone circle is over there with 2 barbed wire fences, so you can't get through that way, so you have to go out onto this track. That's a bit kind of odd place to put the sign. Why is it not in the next field where the stone circle is? Oh well, hey ho. So we're on another little detour to find the grey mare and her colts, which is slightly off my track, and it's right in front of me. Well, apart from a load of sheep as well, of course. So this is grey mare and her colts. So it is a long barrow. Which is obviously partly eroded away. Presumably that stone was stood upright, or unless it's the capstone that was over the top, maybe. It could be the capstone. Anyway, interesting to see it. Wow, that's some view in the evening light. So you've got Portland over there, Chesil Beach down here, amazing. South Dorset Ridgeway, Hardy Monument, 2 miles. So since I'm already nearly 14 miles in, another 2 miles to do, that means it should be about 16 miles. So my estimated 12-mile day has turned out to be 16 by the looks. Well, I knew I was going to be detouring off my route, and I hadn't kind of anticipated that the detour to pick up St. Luke's in the woods would be quite such a big detour. Never mind, you've got to do it. Got to see the St. Luke's Chapel, which I've been wanting to see for a long time, but never actually got round to it, and got to see all the other things as well. It's a good day and a beautiful evening to be out walking. Got that amazing view, amazing light, amazing landscape. Beautiful. See St. Catherine's Chapel now over there in the distance, above Abbotsbury. Oh, we got a final stone circle of the day. Probably constructed between 1800 and 1200 BC. But this one, in truth, you might well walk past without realising it. But there are stones. And down there, there's more around here. And you can see 2 over the other side. But that one's not terribly well preserved. But then, if it's what, 1800 BC, that's 3,000, potentially nearly 4,000 years old. I suppose you're entitled to be a bit worn out by then. And Hardy's Monument comes into view in the distance on its hilltop, Black Down. So the end is in sight. What an amazing end to the day that is. Just look at that awesome light streaming through the trees, and bluebells as well. Amazing. So I think I might use the sun to spotlight me and just sign the video off at this point. I've got another quarter of a mile or so just to continue up the hill to reach Hardy Monument again, and the end of my walk. And it's been another phenomenal day, I have to say. What an amazing walk, amazing stuff we've seen, and I managed to do it all as well. Managed to cover all that I wanted to cover, including finding the chapel in the woods, St. Luke's, the secret chapel, or the remains of it. And yeah, all the other things. Little Bredy, seems so long ago I was at Little Bredy having my lunch, looking out onto the lake. It's just been phenomenal. The whole day has been amazing. Longer than I expected, of course. As I say, it was near, it's going to be just under 16 miles, I think. But I managed it. The ankle's been sore, I have to say, over the last few miles, so it has been a little bit of a struggle, but been awesome nevertheless. I don't mind putting up with an achy, painful ankle when the pleasure is so high. That's the crux, really. The pleasure level is so much higher than the pain level, and it's fine. I can just carry on. Anyway, yes, amazing day. I don't think it could have been better, to be honest. I've no idea how much footage I've shot, lots of it. So I don't know how long the video is going to be when I get round to processing it. Never mind. It was well worth it. Anyway, so I'm going to sign the video off now. So thanks so much for coming with me. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it interesting along the way. Thanks for your company. I've absolutely loved it, as always. But for now, this is me, the Dorset Rambler, saying, until next time.